So hey guys, I wanted to talk to you. I'll use Addison, talk to you a little bit about the concept of sequencing and the importance of it. This is some minor league guy hitting in a facility, but I want to look at the concept of stride equals load. Okay, so if the entire process of our stride is ultimately ending in our maximum load, that's what we see at the end of load. Okay, with Addy we see, I got the line drawn so you can see great back hip movement, gaining momentum, gaining ground. Okay, so we could look at that and say, okay, that part is, at least he's moving the back hip, getting his hips to the middle, and what I'm talking about is hips, not his pecker, sorry, erase, clear, but his hips in between his knees. Okay, these lines are tough to draw, but you get the idea. So he's doing a decent job there. When we talk about sequencing, though, okay, we see here a little bit of internal rotation of the front hip or external rotation of the back hip on that load. So you see the little turn right there. With Addison, we see at the top of leg kick, okay, we see more of a linear or a movement toward the pitcher as opposed to the hips. The front hip kind of internally rotating or rotating towards us, and the back hip rotating that way, okay? And we're not talking about twisting the body, we're talking about hip movement, okay? Just a subtle hip movement that allows us to load the trunk and create tension through this part of our body. Okay, that's happening during the stride. Okay, when we tie the upper body into that, we see Addison get to the top. Okay, he's created some great tension on his leg lift, but the entire way down, he's losing tension. So all that tension that he developed on his leg kick right there, okay, that would be a great load if you were landed. But now your entire stride or your entire load, all you're doing is leaking that out. Okay, so there's the concept of sequencing. If we started our hands even right here, and as the hips went forward, we got the hands to that place. By the end of your load, you're going to be in a much more powerful position. Okay, the result of that, Addy, is you see right here somewhere we have to compensate, and your compensation happens in this next frame right there. You see how you're forced to use the upper body to kind of pinch back and pull the hands down to try to get the bat to the ball. Okay, so that little compensation right there you see is not nearly as strong a position as if we let the front hip, you see the front hip begin to open right there, okay, which is causing the front foot to open. And that, notice, that's happening before anything happens on the back foot. So that tells us that front hip is initiating that early pull into contact, okay. Now the front hip continues to rip open, pulling the backside through and pulling the bat, and you never see any compensating movements, okay. It's just a smooth finish all the way through contact. Okay, here you see, okay, I'm moving linearly, laterally towards the pitcher, and then right there I realize there's no way I can rotate because I've gone too far forward, so now I have to stop and kind of pull the hands down and through. Okay, so all it's doing is taking away potential power. You're a good enough athlete, you're going to compensate, you're going to make contact, but how do we get maximum power? And that has to do with being able to load on the way down as opposed to loading up and then unloading on the way down, which is in essence what you're doing. Okay, so the fix to that is simply syncing it up, having my upper body stay loaded or getting loaded as my hips move forward. if that makes sense. Okay, so start with the arms a little more relaxed. You know, get a more relaxed beginning with the hands. Let the hips start the initial movement, and let the arms and trunk load with the lower body. Again, there's the movement. It's just at the wrong time. Okay, so if we just sync that up, I think you'll notice a huge difference.